This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, the time is 1:30. The Washoe County Open Space and Regional Parks Commission Board meeting is now in session. Before we call to order, I would like to introduce Chris Baker, our newest commissioner. Thank you for coming, and we welcome you, and we're glad you're here.
Mr. Chair, thank you. I appreciate the appointment, and I'm going to do everything in my power to help the parks of Washoe County. So I appreciate that.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Mr. Roman, roll call, please.
Miles Gertler, Chris Baker.
Present.
Timothy Dake.
Present.
Miles Gertler does have an excused absence. Sean Hill.
Here.
Kevin Joel.
Present.
Neil Jones.
Present.
Tracy Kozinski.
Present.
Lisa Rhodey has an excused absence, as our liaison for the Board of County Commissioners, Marluz Garcia, will not be in attendance either today. But we do have a quorum.
Very good. Thank you. Commissioner Baker, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Baker. Instructions for public comment via Zoom. Mr. Roman.
This meeting will be held at the County Commission chambers and via Zoom. To attend this meeting via Zoom, please log into the Zoom webinar using the link found on the agenda. You can also join the meeting by typing zoom.us into your computer browser, clicking Join a Meeting on the Zoom website, and entering this meeting with the ID 898-2690-0042. Alternatively, you can join the meeting via telephone only by dialing 1-669-900-9128. You would enter the meeting ID, which once again is 898-2690-0042, and press pound. For those wishing to provide public comment via Zoom, log into the Zoom webinar using the link on the agenda and utilize the raise hand feature during any public comment period. To provide public comment via telephone only, press star 9 to raise your hand and star 6 to mute or unmute.
Thank you, Mr. Roman. Number 4, public comment. Do we have any public comment?
I have no public comment in chambers. I have no public comment on Zoom.
Very well. Moving on. Approval of the draft minutes for the Open Space and Regional Parks Commission meeting May 28th, 2025 for possible action.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, if I could. Brandon, the video's reversed. It's got a mirror image. Is that the way it's being recorded?
I don't know what's going on today, unfortunately. Here, let me try something else. It's been out of whack since I got here. Spent an hour working on it. Just a minute. I'm going to try Spotlight this one instead.
So we get that flipped if we could.
It's backwards.
Yeah, it's also inverted.
Yeah, it
Okay.
just keeps showing up like
All
that.
right.
If you want, I could go in the back and talk to the ZOSU and ask them if they could fix it, or.
Okay, why don't we take a short 5-minute recess? The time is 1:34. We'll reconvene in 5 minutes. We are in recess. Okay.
I'm good if you want to reconvene the meeting.
Okay. The time is 1:37. The Washoe County Open Space and Regional Parks Commission meeting is now back in session. Item 5, approval of the draft minutes for Open Space and Regional Parks Commission meeting, May 28, 2025, for possible action. I will entertain a motion.
This is Commissioner Dig. The first paragraph there, the highlighted area, Open Space and Park Commission scheduled session on Wednesday, March 26, 2025, should read May 28, 2025. So that needs to be changed. No other. Yours been corrected. Okay.
Kobe caught it right away, and I corrected it. It's been correct online, like with, I don't know, not too long after I sent it. So your copies will have the old date.
All right. Again, Commissioner Dake, I motion we approve the minutes of the meeting from May 28th.
Very well. We have a motion to approve the minutes as written.
Commissioner Joel, I'll second that motion.
Very well. The motion has been made and seconded to approve the minutes as written. Do we have any public comment?
No public comment in chambers. No hands raised on Zoom.
Very well. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair, I was not part of the board at the time, so I'll be abstaining on this item.
Very well. Thank you. Very well. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Okay, I'm moving on to item number 6, presentation and adoption of a proclamation recognizing July as Parks and Recreation Month, celebrating the vital role parks, trails, open spaces, and regional recreational programs play in enhancing the quality of life for our community. And I will be reading the proclamation. Proclamation of July as Park and Recreation Month. Whereas parks, recreation, and open space is an integral part of communities throughout this country, including Washoe County. And whereas parks and recreation promote health and wellness, improving the physical and mental health of people who live near parks and open space. And whereas parks and recreation promote time spent in nature, which positively impacts mental health by increasing cognitive performance and well-being and alleviating illnesses. And whereas parks and recreation encourage physical activities by providing space for popular sports, hiking trails, swimming pools, and many other activities designed to promote active lifestyles. And whereas parks and recreation increase a community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of the local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. And whereas parks, recreation, and open space are fundamental to the environmental well-being of our community. And whereas parks, trails, and open space are essential and adaptable infrastructure that makes our communities resilient in the face of natural disasters and climate change. And whereas our parks and natural recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature and recreate outdoors. And whereas the U.S. House of Representatives has designated July as Parks and Recreation Month, and whereas Washoe County recognizes the benefits derived from parks and recreation resources. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Open Space and Regional Parks Commission that the month of July 2025 is recognized as Park and Recreation Month in the County of Washoe. Proclaimed this day, July 23rd, 2025. Thank you.
Do you need a motion to adopt that proclamation?
This is a non-action item on the agenda.
Well, we can. We can certainly do that.
It says presentation and adoption.
Okay.
I don't know if
I will entertain a motion.
If we're supposed to, it would be kind of bad if we end up having to adopt July as Recreation Month in September. I will happily, Commissioner Joel, for the record, make a motion to adopt the proclamation as read.
Very well.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to accept the presentation and adoption of the proclamation.
For the record, I'm sorry, hate to interrupt here. Kobe Burnett for the record. This is just a discussion item. There is no action on this one. We don't need to make the motion to adopt. This should go into effect as this is a proclamation. Sorry, I could not get my microphone to work, so just wanted to chime in there. So you're good. We're good to go to the next item.
Very well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Commissioner Joel, I retract my motion.
Better.
Thank you, Commissioner Joel. All right, moving on to item 7. Presentation, discussion, and possible recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners to approve an easement deed between Washoe County, grantor, and Sierra Pacific Power Company doing business as NV Energy, grantee, on a portion of Lockwood open space, assessor's parcel number 084-700-01, granting an easement totaling more or less 45,891 square feet at the appraised value of $7,800. If approved, this easement will support NV Energy's gas distribution, utility services to serve the Lockwood area within Story County, Commission District 4. This is for possible action.
Brandon a second and we'll get the slide going. Perfect. All right, again, for the record, Aaron Smith. Today before you is a Brandon, do you think there may be a more recent update to this?
That's the one I grabbed.
All right, so I wanted to, while he's looking into that, I'll go into this. So before you today is a proposed easement by NV Energy across Lockwood open space. Our Washoe County has adopted a parkland easement policy and procedures which allows for uses of scarce and valuable parkland for economic benefit today. Your vote is going to be a recommendation to the BCC of what they should consider. and what this commission deems important to convey to the Board of County Commissioners. So we recognize that there's other valuable uses for parkland, and those balances need to be taken into account for infrastructure and growth. This item is at Lockwood Open Space, just east of town. Currently, there are picnic areas, hiking trails, and river access and pit toilets on this location. It's not a very developed property. Oh, there we go. We got it. Okay. So, no worries. Thank you. What you see on the screen is the outline of the parcel for Lockwood Open Space. There's a lot of access to Truckee River, and the proposed easement is the red line along the north property line along a current dirt access road. So NV Energy has proposed an easement for a permanent gas main, which will serve the parcels north of I-80. So if you see on the top left corner of this slide, those are the parcels that this easement and gas line would serve. It's currently occupied by Granite Construction Lockwood's facility. So the impact of this project would be trenching for 6 to 8 weeks. Access to the river and trails would be maintained. Sections of the access road would be closed. Other than that, the park would remain open. The next best alternative for this easement has conflicts with the railroad, bridges, and another utility, Kindley Morgan, has a pipeline. And running along the road has challenges of design. Their current plan is to bore underneath I-80 and to get to that north property. If they went along the road, they would have to have above ground gas lines, which isn't the desired configuration. So as compensation, Washoe County staff has negotiated the appraised value of $7,800. So today your vote is to determine whether or not the benefit of this project, which is potentially increasing the property values of those parcels to the north, is worth the cost and the opportunity cost of an easement on this parcel. And I'm here to answer any questions that you may have. I don't see our NV Energy representatives here, so it's just me.
Thank you, Aaron. This is Commissioner Hill. One question. The economic benefits for the properties to the north of the site, those properties are in Story County, is that correct?
No. So at the river, south is Story County. Lockwood facility north, or Lockwood open space north is Washoe County property. So the value to the community is increased property values, which in turn turns into tax revenue through property tax, and that's that value. But yes, so the service that is actually coming from Story County up into the north to Washoe County to serve a Washoe County parcel. The service request was made by that parcel that is just on the other side of I-80, currently occupied by Granite Construction.
Got it.
This is Commissioner Dake. Director Smith, thinking about the Washoe County Open Space and Parks master plan, is there any activity to develop this park or any ideas to develop this parcel in the master plan? Is there any plan for this property in the future or the foreseeable future?
We don't have a master plan for this park specifically. We do for other parks.
Okay.
We just did Rancho Santa Fe master plan. We're doing Lazy 5 coming up. There's not a master plan for this facility specifically, to my knowledge, but I can get that answer back to you. In the Washoe County master plan, I don't believe this park is, and the development specific to this park is in that plan. It's more of bringing park amenities generally to the community.
Thank you.
Commissioner Jones, the tunneling underneath railroad tracks and an active freeway, that's a pretty serious undertaking. What are we looking at on a time frame for that? And will that impact that northwesterly corner of the open space?
So the impact of boring underneath the freeway, I don't have a good answer for you for what that timeline looks like. I'd have to talk to NV Energy about that. The impact to Lockwood open space would only be for 6 to 8 weeks. So when they bore, their recommendation was those bore, the material that comes out of that would be stored outside of the area, and then so the impact to us is only that 6 to 8 week for the trenching, and then they were going to work on the railroad property for the boring.
Okay, so the 6 to 8 weeks, that includes all of that?
That includes just the impact to the Lockwood open space.
Oh, okay.
So for that 6 to 8 weeks, that's when that access to the access road would be limited, and that's the only impact to Washoe County property for this project. The other impacts are to the other surrounding property owners.
This is Commissioner Joel for the record. My recollection in the aerial photo provided is not super detailed, but the trail loop that's out there, my recollection that it does hop onto that gravel road for a short section to make that loop. There's several loops in that area, and the majority of them are closer to the river. I'd have to look at that trail alignment. I'd have to get back to you. I don't have that answer. Eric, I see Director Crump is shaking his head no. It does not, you can still loop it without utilizing that road? Okay.
Yeah, for the record, Eric Crump with Washoe County's Community Services Department. All the loops in there's some smaller and larger. They're all within and south of that road. I think it's important to note that the road that the proposed easement is going on is actually not the access road to our open space. They're shared for a bit. And then the road that goes kind of on the far north border of Lockwood is actually access to two private parcels west of Lockwood. So you can see in the presentation, slide number 4 shows that a little bit better.
Okay, so it's not necessarily, it just goes through the parcel. It's not necessarily on the park road. It's on the driveway to those private residences to the west.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So it's not even really an impact to park users then?
The easement includes, it goes over our entrance road. You can see by, again, that red line. So there will be impact when they're working in that area. And so there might be controlled access in and out. But once they're through there, they're basically right on the park boundary. And it'll affect that northern road that is access for the two private parcels.
Okay. Because I understand, like, the public comment that we got about, they always go after parklands because it's the cheapest, and that is likely accurate. And I understand, like, we have to get the appraisal, there's laws about how that is valued and determined and stuff for what price would be charged for that easement. And I guess my question is, and it may not actually be appropriate in this case just because of where the location of that easement is and not really actually affecting significantly any of the park amenities, but when we do allow this, we're selling it to, we're selling the value of the land, for that pipeline or utility to go in. But then we also have the 6 to 8 weeks of construction where there is an opportunity cost in loss of access to the public. And I don't know, is there a way for us to recoup a fee for that? Just to offset, like, hey, yeah, the park's going to be closed for this construction for 2 months, so we're going to come up with a fee for that that's going to pay for some type of improvement, or maintenance, capital project, something. If someone uses a park for a special event, my recollection is it's $75 a day is the base fee. So if they're using the park for construction, it seems to me that, like, maybe that fee should be separate from the appraised value. And I realize we probably don't even have anything in place to be able to do that, so it may not even be applicable for this project. I just kind of wanted to maybe bring that up for future potential.
For the record, Aaron Smith, through the chair, to answer your question, these are negotiable. There's nothing that says we have to take just the appraised value. If there are other impacts to the park, opportunity costs for the future, downsides for us, the community should be compensated fairly for giving up this easement or giving of this easement. So short story is everything's negotiable.
Okay.
Commissioner Baker, for the record, just a couple questions. It looks like it's going to be a non-exclusive easement. Am I correct in understanding there's not an existing PUE there now?
There is not an existing PUE there.
Okay, so typically there would be a 10-foot PUE there anyway that would have just been recorded with the recordation of the map. So really, they're paying for an additional 10 feet that maybe should have been there with the creation of the parcel.
Right.
So, yeah, then my guess, if it's non-exclusive, so would this be able to be utilized for, am I correct in that this would be able to utilize for other future utilities?
I don't have an answer for you.
Okay.
Maybe Eric can, yeah.
For the record, Eric Crump, to answer your question, Commissioner, this easement will actually be in the name of NV Energy.
Okay.
So it's not a public utility easement where others can join in. So if another utility came forward and wanted, so that's the non-exclusive piece, they'd go through the same process. We'd consider just like we're considering it here. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it does, thank you. And then just the second question, would this also still have to go through the Board of Adjustment use permit process?
Yes, it does. So your decision here is a recommendation to the board whether to approve the easement or not, or some variation thereof.
No, I meant go through the special use permit process for a utility and.
Yes. So everything we do here at Park Commissions in terms of land and town, that's separate from Planning Commission and BOA.
Thank you.
This is Commissioner Joel. Do you guys know what the history of the Lockwood property is?
I do.
Like how it became Washoe County's?
For the record, Aaron Smith, Washoe County, so this property was deeded to Washoe County in 1997 by the Buse family, and then several parcels were combined to make the Lockwood open space. Did I get that? Okay.
Sure.
All right.
For the record, Eric Ramp, and for those of us who've been around for a while, 1997, that was the year of the big flood, so this used to be a mobile home park. And so that area flooded significantly, and we worked with the property owner to acquire it for kind of a floodable park, if you will, remove all the structures out. And so in terms of development and master plan, it was developed shortly after we acquired it. Nobody knows the future, but it was developed as access to the Truckee River along with trail systems and kind of not park-like. So it could be flooded.
I understand. And if I can follow up on what Commissioner Baker said, if when that transfer happened, or even earlier when it was private property, a utility easement had have been recorded at that time, like we wouldn't even be here right now. There wouldn't even be a request because they'd already have an easement? Okay.
Commissioner Hill, do you have a sense for the usage of the park, or for attendance, or?
So we have car counters on many of our parks. I'd have to look to see if we have it on this. I'm not sure if we know. We don't.
Yeah.
Our expert ranger is telling me. But it's a popular park. You know, people go out there, get access to the Truckee River, fishing and all the river fun stuff.
So when we consider the public comment that we received, and we think about selling an easement on park land, I would like this committee to have the discussion of, sort of opportunity costs, true value, ecosystem services. On the one hand, it looks like it's going to be some trenching on an already defined dirt road. Doesn't seem like that big a deal. But I think we should grapple with sort of any slippery slope here of selling easement rights on parkland and the value that land provides. I don't know how to get to that value. I don't know if there's a way to calculate ecosystem costs with the appraisal process that has already happened, but I think it's a discussion worth having before we sell rights. Does anybody on the commission here have any thoughts about that?
If I may, for the record, Eric Crump with Washoe County's Community Services Department. You're asking the very same questions that have been in front of staff in this commission for many, many years. It was actually the impetus behind our easement policy. We didn't have one for some time, and folks kept coming forward. Our easement policy is very specific in that it doesn't provide for private easements, so those are usually not of concern. What we tend to get are kind of public utility easements. So these are things like NV Energy for gas lines or power lines, or Nevada or Tumwa for water lines. So those obviously have a public benefit as well. And Wayne, I will tell you, historically, we have had times where we've engaged some of the larger easements that we have, specifically at Rancho San Rafael for a Tumwa water line, and then at Betsy Collin Donnelly for a Tumwa water line as well. That easement goes basically right through the middle of the park, and that's a whole different conversation. We negotiated a much higher value to that easement. It wasn't just appraised value, but there was significant amount, and we worked with them, and they came forward and said, okay, yes, there is an alternative way to deliver this to our citizens, but it would require going through the street, and we can provide you a cost of that. And so, as we all know, it's much easier to go through parklands oftentimes. So we kind of looked at, okay, if this is the cost to go through the street, this is the cost to go through the park, maybe that mitigation strategy is somewhere in the middle, right? And so that's been negotiated historically.
Thank you. That's very helpful. Has that conversation, it sounds like the alternatives in this case are quite potentially expensive. So has there been any conversation with NV Energy about the alternative and coming to a similar sort of arrangement?
For the record, Aaron Smith, we have had those conversations with NV Energy. They have filled out the easement application and have spoken to the challenges for the next best alternative, but haven't provided a number of what that cost would be.
Commissioner Kozenski, kind of following up on that point, will there be efforts made by NV Energy to take mitigation steps to minimize the impacts on the park property and the resources that will be impacted by the easement? And then a follow-up question is, what future access will NV Energy have? How frequently would they be coming onto the land, and what would they be doing in terms of maintaining the pipes that are underground?
So, for the record, Aaron Smith, NV Energy has committed to minimizing the impact to park users. They're going to be operating within an area of the park that isn't typically visited by park users. Like Eric said, the access road is typically used by neighboring parcel owners. So they'll be operating in that area. They'll be trenching. They'll be making sure that it's a safe work zone and that it's known, and then also minimizing the time frame for 6 to 8 weeks. And then for your second question, will they need to access only in an emergency, only if there's repairs, which, when they install it, everything should be good for a while, and then only if there's repairs later on, if they're having issues, it's unknown on what their future access is going to be, but there's not going to be regular annual maintenance. That there will be a cathodic system on the pipe so it doesn't corrode. Other than that, they won't have to do very much.
Director Smith, Commissioners, I do have Clint Alverson from Nevada Energy Online. He has his hand raised. I'm sure he's their consultant or something. I was going to go ahead and allow him to talk if you'd like to ask him some questions. Clint, go ahead and unmute.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes, please state your full name for the record.
My name is Clint Alverson. I'm the Energy Director over here for gas projects.
Hello? There you go.
Let's try that again.
Yeah.
Currently, I lost my mute. So,
some technical difficulties. I apologize.
Yeah, don't worry. I was gonna respond to some of the questions you had on that. And one of the conditions, I know you were asking about the access during construction and how much it would impact the access into the Lockwood open space. With that horizontal directional drill, we should be I don't anticipate impacting the access in on the west side of Canyon Way really at all, because there's two different entrances there. One, essentially, like you were saying before, accesses the property to the west, and then one does access directly to the open space area. Where our pipe will come out of the ground on the north side of the Truckee River would be, and there's a little knob between the two accesses, so it should not limit the access into that open space during construction.
Clint, do you mind speaking to the ongoing maintenance, how often you guys would need to access that easement?
Yeah, no problem. So it's a little clarification. It is polyethylene pipe. So which was one advantage here is there won't be any cathodic protection necessary on the pipe itself. Because we're doing PE, we'll have test stations out there just to make sure that our pipe we can locate it. Not necessarily anything that we have to be out there very often. We'll go look at our test stations and make sure they're operable on a regular basis. I think it's once a year, maybe twice a year, once every 2 years. But in terms of actually accessing the pipe after construction, unless we had a dig-in situation, a abnormal operating condition, or we had a leak, we wouldn't necessarily need to access that pipe at all.
Commissioner Joel, for the record, so if I understand you correctly, you're doing this with horizontal drilling rather than trenching?
Correct. Yes, that'll help impact at least the crossing of the river is horizontal directional. When we get to the north side and run west along that Lockwood Drive, that will be open trenching.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
But the access road to the park at the east end, you're doing with horizontal drilling?
Yes.
Okay. What size pipe?
We're doing 8-inch polyethylene.
Okay.
And then I know you had a question earlier about drilling underneath I-80. With the drilling happening, we're going to do what's called a jack and bore. So we'll dig 2 pits either side of 80, one on the north side of Interstate 80, and then one on the south side, and we'll be pushing through a 36-inch steel pipe in order to help support everything above it and for allow us to have a easy access to push our pipe through to the other side. And with that work, it won't impact any of the open space because we'll be on that. We'll be in the UPRR right away there and accessing that area from the Lockwood Drive, not the park's access.
Commissioner Kozinski, for the record, did you indicate that you were going to be going underneath the Truckee River? I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Yes, we're going to drill from the south side, drill underneath it, come back up on the north side. This will allow us not have to worry about impacting the river itself and get outside of the accepted 1% flood conditions. And that's another reason why we also didn't want to go on the bridge, because that bridge has potential for inundation during a flood, and we don't want our pipe to be inundated if it's above ground.
I just didn't see that indicated any place on the map where.
Yeah, I can understand that. The detailed engineering plans do indicate that we have a horizontal directional drill there.
Thank you.
For the record, Aaron Smith. Clint, do you mind speaking to the alternatives and potential costs for those alternatives?
Yeah, we looked at it as much as we could to get across the river itself. Unfortunately, due east of the Canyon Drive area is the Rainbow Bend community. There's not a lot of room over there for us to set up and try to get across the river on the east side of the access. So that kind of pushed us out of the potential there. If you look more westerly, the further west we go, the longer the horizontal directional drill is going to be. And that would also impact the location of where we could go in from the south side and come out from the north side, especially since there's a lot of improvements over there. We would have to either have to deal with building impacts or just trying to get across the Truckee River is a lot worse than the west side. This unfortunately where the location is the most opportune location we can get across, especially with the horizontal directional drill. And we were not going to entertain trenching across the river at all, just because of the amount of work, the permitting requirements for it, and just the sheer impact it would have to the ecosystem there. Now, going across on the bridge, like what I said before, would cause issues. If we had a flood, we could have damage to our pipe, which a damage to our pipe on a flood situation could release gas and create an even more dangerous situation across there. Plus, I don't believe we didn't talk too much about NDOT, but they were not going to let us go across the bridge over 80. I've never seen it happen before, especially with a gas utility. So we'd have to go underneath it no matter what. In terms of cost, the further west we go, the HDD could double in cost. It could be from a $600,000 to a $2 million potential cost increase. Plus, we had limitations on the north side in order to even get across 80. There's not a lot of room over there to come up and get up in the elevation that the customer location is. Hopefully that kind of answers your question there. I don't have a good idea of what the differential cost would be, but the longer the HDDs we have, the more cost we have, and the further east we go, the more cost we get.
This is Commissioner Hill. Director Smith, can you clarify the red line that we were shown? Does that show where it is going underneath the river? Is that on that map?
For the record, Aaron Smith, the red line that's shown in the PowerPoint is just the easement across the Lockwood open space, so Washoe County's part of it. Where it crosses, where they're going to bore underneath the river, isn't shown on that map.
Because it's not our open space. It's not open space. Gotcha. Yeah. That makes sense. Yep.
We're about, I would say, 30 feet to the west of Canyon Road. 30, 40 feet around there. That's kind of where the crossing will be, and it'll be parallel to Canyon Way.
So Clint, Commissioner Joel, so if I understood you correctly, that this location utilizing parks and open space land could potentially save you roughly $600,000?
Potentially. I can't say that that's the exact cost because we don't have a final condition on this because it's a customer installed line for us. And we after they've installed it, we take ownership of it. It's a new business project for us, is what you call it. So I'm not sure what the final cost would be from what the customer contractor would be. Possibly around $600,000, but I can't say that's for sure.
Roughly a significant amount of money. And
correct.
So I guess I'm asking you if you kind of see where we're coming from, where, we're hearing from staff, that's applying for, $10,000 and $20,000 grants just to try to make park programs happen and maintenance projects and upkeep and things like that. And, we did get some input from the public, to oppose this, that essentially, we're selling it out for, pennies on the dollar. And so I guess just my question is, and I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know if staff has any pending maintenance issues or capital projects for Lockwood Park. But it seems fair to me, that if we're going to take an action that's going to save you or your client roughly $500,000, that, maybe we could get I don't know, a fishing station, on the river, or a kiosk, or I don't know what staff's needs right now are for Lockwood, a drinking fountain, or who knows, that it would be fair to ask for something like that. Like, Clint, is that something that you guys would be like amiable to helping out with?
Unfortunately, I can't talk on that subject because I'm not part of the negotiations when it comes to lands and, say, Washoe County. So I couldn't give you an answer on that right now, unfortunately, because I don't have those any authority to say anything on that.
I understand.
For the record, Aaron Smith, the point of clarity, so we can take any of the recommendations that this commission states before bringing it to BCC, and continue to work with NV Energy if that's the direction that you desire.
Like Commissioner Joel, again, I have no issues with, the gas pipeline. I mean, pipelines are inherently super safe. They're more environmentally sustainable than trucking, that same material. And this is literally the edge of the park. But, our public comment made a very good point, and I'd like to acknowledge it. And if we're saving them a decent amount of money, by choosing this route, it seems like, asking for something in return to benefit the public at that park would be reasonable.
This is Commissioner Hill. I would agree. I think that there's something about precedent here that I want to be very careful about. And I think that there should be a premium on open space that might not be accounted for in the traditional appraisal process. So I would agree with your comments on getting something else included for parks, and ideally formalizing that natural premium, if you will, for future contracts.
Yeah, Commissioner Baker, for the record, I agree with my fellow commissioners. A question, the appraised value of $7,800, so tell me where that goes. Would that get put back into park improvements on that facility, or does that just go in an account to be used somewhere else?
So that's $7,800 would go into, let's see, it would be the property sales, GL, general ledger. So it would go back into parks.
For the record, Eric Crump with Washoe County Community Services. Typically with our easement revenue, it goes into the park district that particular park is in. So we have numerous districts, so it may not hit the ground in Lockwood, but it'd be in that park district. So in that area, I don't know what other parks in there, probably Lazy Five, kind of the Spanish Springs area, so East Truckee Canyon.
Okay, yeah, just kind of my take, if the residents and the end users of that park are the ones who are being the most impacted by any construction or development and revenue associated with that, to me should be earmarked for improvements on the facility that generated the revenue.
For the record, Aaron Smith, the short answer is yes. The long answer is that it doesn't go back into the general fund. Mm-hmm. It stays in parks within that district to serve that, but it could be part of your recommendation.
Is Commissioner Joel, for the record, and I'm sorry to put staff on the spot, but off the top of your heads, do you happen to know if there's any pending needs at Lockwood?
For the record, Aaron Smith, I know signage is always a concern. Our signage gets hit by the sun and always needs updating. Graffiti, I know that's an issue. There aren't a lot of amenities out at that park, but there's always opportunities to clean things up and do better, just general O&M. But I think I might have some.
Yeah, actually, I just learned, thank you, that the park could benefit from a cattle guard at the entrance to keep the wild horses out. It's currently fenced, so we have straight wire that we could tie it to. So long story short, there's always improvements at a park. We usually keep it at park district level, just to give ourselves a little flexibility. And it's kind of case specific depending on if we're talking thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars, and we've done both. So.
And did I catch that there's an interest of like a water connection at the park? Is there water out in, is that Canyon Drive or Lockwood Drive, out front?
So for the record, Eric Crump, I'm not sure if there's a potable water source. I know there is in Story County. It serves that community. I think it's outside of Tumwa's service area. So that would take some investigation on our part to find out if there's a potable water source that we could tie into, but there is no potable source at the park right now. There's currently no potable. We do irrigate some of the landscaping. It was primarily to establish it, but that's through actually off the Truckee River. So.
I mean, it seems like either of those potential options would be very easy for NV Energy to do while they're already doing construction in the area as a gift to the park, rather than paying money and then you guys would have to deal with like a public works project, all the stuff associated with that. So is it like if we did a motion and just directed staff to continue negotiating for improvements at Lockwood to be included with this project? Like, is that, I guess I'm kind of looking for the legal interpretation. Is that something that it would work?
You're good.
Kobe Burnett for the record. I mean, the motion is whatever you guys really want it to be. This right now is up for approval. I think the way it's described in the staff report is the possible motion would just be to move to recommend to the county commissioners to approve the easement deed. But if you guys need more time to consider it, or you want a motion to do something other than that, that's up to the board's discretion.
So if Commissioner Joel again, so if I added to that motion and direct staff to negotiate improvements valued at X, I have no idea what X should be, and I'm kind of okay if you guys just figure that out, staff and NV Energy kind of figure that out of like, hey, we need a cattle guard, or we need to hook up a water meter, which may or may not be available. I mean, is that too vague of a motion, or?
Kobe Burnett again for the record. I think the issue with including something like negotiations is that this would need to come before the board again once those negotiations had been figured out, so that we can iron them out here and know what those negotiations are before we move that forward to the Board of County Commissioners for possible approval.
Chair Jones, it sounds to me that, based on the comments I'm hearing, that we need to table this motion and just table it and let staff renegotiate. Is that something that the commissioners, is that something we're looking at?
This is Commissioner Joel. I have a question for Clint, just knowing that time is money. Where are you guys at in your timeline? Is he still on?
Yeah. You're unmuted. You're unmuted, Clint. You should be able to
there we go.
Yeah. Okay, I was going to say, you were unmuted.
No, I unmuted myself. This is Clint Alverson again, for the record. Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Where are you guys at timeline-wise if we have staff continue to make negotiations with you and it comes back to our next meeting in September? How does that affect your timeline on this project?
I think at this time it would be okay. I know we're still trying to work with our customer, get the contracts and everything signed by them, and I'm not sure when they anticipate where that contract condition is right now, but I don't think that would be too much of a problem coming back in September.
Okay, thank you.
So as Commissioner Hill, one approach I'm hearing is that the staff should think about a project that needs happening at the site and use that to negotiate. Another approach I might recommend for us to think about is coming up with some sort of standard. You might look at what happened at Chrissy Collin Park or what you negotiated at the other site that you mentioned, so that in future meetings it's not just, we have a standard to look at, whatever that percentage is, let's say, versus, it's a one-off cattle guard this time. I don't know how much that helps us next time around. So that's something to consider.
I agree.
All right. Do I have a motion to table this particular motion until the next meeting in September, when we can get together and have staff and NV Energy and anyone else, interested parties, renegotiate this?
This is Commissioner Joel. I'll make that motion that so my motion will be that we table this item to the September meeting, and in the meantime, direct staff to continue negotiations with the applicant to provide for some park improvements.
Commissioner Dake, I'd second that motion.
Okay, very well. Motion has been made and seconded. Any public comment?
Just a little discussion, Commissioner Baker, for the record. And again, I think time is money, as Commissioner Joel mentioned. Even just these improvements could be, so you could include in the staff report a not to exceed amount. So it gives you some flexibility, because things change. That could be O&M or a cattle guard. They could be examples, because I'd hate for it to be earmarked for a specific thing, and then maybe we have some environmental, issue, and that needs to be rectified at the property. So I think maybe a little bit of staff flexibility would be prudent.
Commissioner Kozinski, on that point, would it be flexibility to use the resources at another park in the district, or is the intent that it has to be used at this park? I know that you had raised that point, so just.
I don't know that I have an answer to that yet.
As Commissioner Hill, I'd like for the staff to remain having that flexibility, and at the district level, if that's what makes most sense to them in transactions like this, I'm not opposed to letting them keep that sort of flexibility and autonomy.
This is Commissioner Joel. I'd like to revise my motion. I think the last words of it, to change it from improvements at Lockwood Park to improvements within the Parks District that contains Lockwood Park.
Very well, so noted. Any more public comment or discussion?
I do not have any public comment in chambers. I did have one hand raised. Akib, did you want to speak? Akib, if you had public comment, please unmute. State your first and last name for the record. If not,
Keep Chappie for the record. I actually also work at NV Energy, but I was trying to raise my hand because we were having some technical difficulties, just trying to get some attention. So I don't have any actual comments.
thank you.
Do we need to redo the second of the amended? Yeah.
Well, we have a motion, and then it's been amended. It has not been seconded on the amended motion.
As Commissioner Hill, I will second the amended motion.
The amended motion, very well. We have a motion, it's been seconded. Any further public comment on the amended motion?
I have no public comment in chambers nor Zoom.
Very well. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Moving on, number 8, presentation, update, and discussion of the off-leash dog pilot program.
Hello, I'm Celia Walker, Park Ranger with Washoe County Parks. Good, it's up. So
The
everyone
clicker's
wanted-
right to your left hand, right. There you go.
Got it?
Press the right arrow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Got it. Most of you were here, I believe, maybe a few not, but a few years ago, we did an off-leash pilot program. And we tested it for 1 year at 3 different parks with soccer fields, just to have a shared use during non-soccer time. The same 3 parks, they've had off-leash dog use 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday through Friday. During non-team use, March through November. And let's see, during the rest of the year, it's every day, just when there's no soccer league use. So we're just doing a recap since then. This was since 2023 now. So it's been going for a couple years. It's going very well. Our first off-leash park was North Valley's Regional Park. We have an 80 by 80 soccer field at the very end of Silver Lake. And so during the pilot program, we had about 20 people per day. Now we have about 50, 70 more people when it's nice weather, on the weekends as well. This is, in my opinion, has been the most successful field for the program. It's fully fenced. We don't have dog waste on the field. I haven't had any complaints from leagues or residents. It's been great. There has been one called Animal Services during these past 2 years for an aggressive dog with their owner, which they came out, and we have not seen them since. Dog waste bags, we do have 2 stations at this field. On average, we're replacing about 6 boxes of those dog waste bags each week. No damage filed, with maintenance or anyone. Comments from suggestions from the public. Everyone is still very thankful and respectful. We have regular users every day, walk in from the neighborhoods or drive in. There's not too many options in North Valleys, so this is really great. There's only one other dog park down the road, and it's HOA dirt. It's all dirt, fenced in. So the comments I get is we much prefer this field. It's grass, and it has a parking lot you can drive into, and it's pretty nice. Lazy 5 was our second field that we tested, and this is the soccer field in the lower end of the park. So now it's bordered by the new neighborhood, the pavilion, playground, and then open space. And it has been very successful. During the pilot program, average was 15 people per day. And currently, it's about 100 with about 250 during weekends, nice weather. I can attest to this because I start my day at Lazy 5, and it is a constant stream of dogs in cars just coming into the park. The dog waste, there has been 0 complaints from the soccer leagues or staff. No calls to animal control. And they are refilling about 3 boxes of bags twice a week. Hammers Healthy Hounds is the one that supplies all the dog bags. They are one of the series sponsors to the concerts as well at Lazy 5. We've had 0 damage reports filed. We have had a few complaints from the public on the playground and off-leash dogs coming onto the playground. And so we have devised a split rail fence as a delineation of off-leash versus on-leash areas. So that is planned to be installed as a barrier. And everyone I talk to, which I bring my dog here too, to Lazy Five, they are all very thankful, and everyone knows each other by name. They're regulars every single morning. It's been beneficial there. I had a lady flag me down a few weeks ago. They want an actual dog park at Lazy Five, and they know the master plan is coming up. Many of the people that are bringing their dogs on the off-leash field are advocates for a dog park in the park. South Valleys was the most popular during the pilot program and is still the most popular, about 150 users per day. And the rangers are getting an occasional complaint from park users with dog waste on the field. No calls to animal services. They replace about 6 boxes of dog bags per week. They have a local sponsor of dog bags as well. No damage reports, and then comments and suggestions from the public. Overall, the support has been great from the public. Again, it's regular people coming every day, so it's a sense of community. And they did receive one complaint of soccer starting earlier than 1 p.m. But soccer leagues do have their priority if they have the field reserved. So that was explained to the users. So what's next? So the goal of this program, why we started it, was to spread the love of the off-leash dog use to many parks, to prevent certain parks from being overused. And we have a much higher population, it's high demand. So this fall, winter, myself and fellow ranger are going to do a presentation to City of Sparks and Reno Parks to make the case to start their own program, to start with 1 or 2 parks for a year with the off-leash, and see how that goes for them, so we can spread this out. Ours is getting very popular, so it's time to expand here. And it's been a good program with the shared use with the soccer. And this is just the program summary. We have regular groups that meet every day at the fields. It is a good sense of community. It's a positive addition, I believe, to the parks. It's nice to give that option to people when they're in the park, with their dog off leash on the playground or somewhere they're not supposed to be. Like, hey, did you know right over here we have this off leash option? And 9 times out of 10, they will just go there and they're thankful for the info. So any questions I will answer, but that's all I have for you.
Well, thank you very much. That's very informative. The one thing I did notice about number of calls to Washoe County Animal Services, there was one. That's obviously kind of a last resort kind of thing. Have any of the rangers, anybody seen, fights getting on between dogs and people getting rude with each other? The owners, anything along those lines?
Nothing at North Valleys or Lazy Five. South Valleys, I know some people were getting a little upset. There was a couple dog owners with more aggressive dogs. And those are the only ones that I know of, and I believe there was 2 incidents with rangers, with them coming to complain about them.
Okay. What about large dogs and small dogs? Is there an issue with that, or are the owners self-policing themselves along those lines?
Part of our rules is at your own risk, right? You know your dog, how they get along with others. I have heard, people, they want a small dog park an actual dog park for small dogs. And, you know, if we could do that, that would be great. But this is what we have to offer right now. So, you know, I would recommend to them, maybe you can go, you can see who's in the field already. You know, if nobody's there, go ahead, take your dog. If they don't want to interact, you know, small dog, large dog. This is an off-leash field. It's not a dog park, so it's just shared use. Use at your own risk. Large and small dogs, we haven't really had that problem, but people would like a separated dog park for them. Yes.
Thank you.
Commissioner Baker, just for the record, quick question. First of all, I think this is a great idea. I think it's a great way to have kind of shared use of facilities that most of the time in the morning are just kind of sitting there. So I think this is great, and it seems like it's quite a success. It looks like at Lazy 5, there's some private partnerships for some of the bags and some of the other stuff. Has that been explored at some of the other facilities?
Yeah, and South Valleys as well. I'm forgetting the name of the Natural Paws, yes.
Okay.
And they're right there off Wedge Parkway, and they provide all the bags for South Valleys.
Nice. And then I'm assuming they provide signage or something that they get a little marketing bump or something, I would hope.
Yeah, they have a little sign, bags provided by Natural Paws. I believe they also do Galena as well.
Okay, yeah, I think that's great. And then the other question was relating to signage. Just was there a public campaign so people knew of this, or how are there, is this just a word of mouth that there's all of a sudden 150 dogs at the park?
Well, yes, when we did the pilot program, this was advertised to the public that this was happening. There was signage in the parks. There's still, 4-foot by 4-foot signs at each of these fields that, this is this program, these are the hours, these are the rules, this is shared use, you cannot be here when soccer is here. So that was put out to the public and on social media and our websites, and then word of mouth took off from there. And so that's why it's just continued to grow. And it is on our websites, Washoe County Parks, as well as Animal Services. They're telling people, you can't have your dog off leash here, but you can go here. And they have flyers that they've been handing out as well. So word of mouth travels very quickly in the dog world, I think, where you can have your dog off leash, and nice places to go to meet other community members. Especially at Lazy 5, there is no other dog parks up there. I think the closest is Sparks Marina, which is not very close to Spanish Springs. So it's extremely popular.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
Tracy Kaczynski for the record. Thank you for your presentation. You referenced an actual dog park, and I got from inference that it's probably one that's not shared use and maybe fenced, but I'm not really sure what the difference is between this pilot program and an actual dog park. And then just curious how many dog parks there are in Washoe County that are Washoe County dog parks.
There are Washoe Counties. We only have one.
Okay.
Actual dog park.
Okay, all right.
And it's a good question, because the difference between a dog park has, actual regulations of what you have to be a dog park. And it has to be fully fenced, and you have 2 entrances, like a dual gate entrance. And then you have to provide water, trash, you have to have dog bags. There's all these different regulations that you need to have. And then there is an off-leash field where everyone understands this is the area you can have your dog off-leash without, breaking the rules, although you do need to follow all these guidelines. So that's it. It doesn't have to be fully fenced. It doesn't have to have a dual gate. And Hidden Valley Regional Park is our only dog park, and it has the small dog and the large dog. separated parks. Rancho San Rafael is the multi-use pasture. So it's just 25 acres of pasture land that's not fully fenced. But we have an agreement for an off-leash dog use there. Yeah.
Any more questions, comments? Hearing none. Very well. Thank you very much. That was very informative and very much of a help to us commissioners. It's obviously very popular to have these off-leash, and we definitely want to take that into consideration. The time is 2:46. Let's take a brief 10-minute recess before we reconvene on a number of other items. We are in recess.
Kobe's taking a quick break.
Okay, that's fine.
He knows. He knows.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Okay.
If you're ready, I could just let me start the recording.
We're all back in. Very well.
This meeting is being recorded.
The time is now 2:54. The Washoe County Open Space and Regional Parks Commission meeting is now back in session. And moving on to item 9, update on pros consulting work to develop a service plan for the possible creation of a park district.
Good afternoon. For the record, Eric Crump with Washoe County's Community Services Department. We wanted to put this item here. You will see this as a standing item at each of your meetings, so it allows the opportunity to have some discussions around what the current events around Pros Consulting. So as you all know, Pros Consulting has entered into an agreement with the City of Reno to develop basically a feasibility study or a service plan for a potential park district. We have entered into an interlocal with the City of Reno. It's not fully executed yet. The Reno City Council was on a bit of a break, so we've executed on our end. Board of County Commissioners has approved that interlocal and actually passed a resolution to initiate the proceedings for a park district. We're just waiting for City of Reno to approve it on their end, and then we'll be in an interlocal. That's kind of the technical side of things. So in terms of Pros Consulting, we have had a kickoff meeting. So City of Reno, City of Sparks, and Washoe County have all met with a consultant, and they have put together a very long list, as you can imagine, of requests for information. So staff is currently gathering all of that information to provide to Pros Consulting. We have a weekly meeting every Monday morning to check in, and then actually the consultant will be in town next week, and we'll be doing park districts with each of the jurisdictions and some interviews with leadership and stakeholders and a variety of things. It's my understanding they'll be back in about 3 weeks. So there's not much to report other than that right now, but wanted to answer any questions you might have about the process. So. Okay.
Hearing none. Thank you very much. Moving on, item 10, park reports.
Good afternoon, Stephanie DRC, Parks Operations Superintendent. As always, I like to use this time for Park District reports to really brag about the staff that we have and the amazing work that they are doing. As you know, summer is our busiest season, so we certainly have quite a few programs going on. I'll just hit some of the highlights for you. The Galena Campfire Series has had an average attendance of about 150 people per week. Families are invited to Galena Creek Park on Friday nights to enjoy a short educational program followed by a music performance under the stars. You can bring blankets, snacks, chairs, and enjoy the evening. We've had great weather for it as well. This week we have 4-H and FFA are doing a quick presentation with live animals. What those are to be determined at this point. And then we'll move into a musical performance by Sagebrush Rebels Trio. That does start at 7:30. We are also looking forward to our partnership with Keep Truckee Meadows Beautiful for the Truckee River Cleanup on September 13th. This year, our participating sites will be Crystal Peak, Durascar, Lockwood Trailhead, and Rancho San Rafael. The barbecue afterwards, celebrating with the volunteers, will be held at Barley Ranch Regional Park. Last Saturday, we participated in a fundraising event that was put on at Reno Public Market to support our restoration efforts at Davis Creek Regional Park. Our Ranger Nick was able to give a talk on restoration efforts this far and fire safety. Over $6,000 was raised at this event, and we are super grateful for all of the community support. Let's see. In early May, our Rangers worked with students at Peavine Elementary to hatch a small group of baby chicks. After they spent some time in the classroom with the students, the chicks arrived at their new home at Rancho to live alongside our rooster and turkey already on staff. And, excuse me, about 1,000 visitors attended the special 20th anniversary of the Lazy 5 Summer Music Series out on June 7th. There were several hours of live entertainment, a car show, a craft fair, food trucks, and so much more. There's so much planning that goes into an event of that size, and our staff did a really amazing job planning that for our community. And then I have some brief project updates on some things that we've been working on. The Rancho San Rafael Playground project is experiencing a small delay due to the permitting process. They are requiring some additional permitting for shade structures and for the structure that the portable restroom will be enclosed in. So we are just waiting, we're navigating that process, and we're hoping that we will get that done very soon. The playground equipment is in, the fencing, the last I heard, was almost, if not complete, and the landscaping is almost complete as well. So we are shooting for an August opening, but I will make sure that everybody knows when that is complete in case you'd like to come out and celebrate with us. The bike park at Sun Valley Regional Park is near 100% completion as we anticipate install of kiosks, maps, and signage. Incredible work was done on this project, and we are anticipating that the biking community will enjoy it for many years to come. Lastly, the Emilio Gaspari Splash Park at Lazy 5 has been closed this season due to some construction delays. There was a brand new pump room that was installed, which is beautiful and functional, and we're very excited. But in that work, we identified some additional items that needed some attention before we would be able to open to the public. That has been completed. We are waiting on our health inspection tomorrow, and we hope to be open in the next week. So we're very excited about that. I know that Spanish Springs has been very excited about that splash park opening for the summer. So we're grateful to be able to save some of that season. And I would be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Chair Jones, on the Davis Creek, you said we brought in over 6,000?
Correct.
Do you have any idea how many people contributed to that? Just a rough?
I don't. We have a new online donation process, so I can easily track that for you, and I'd be happy to let you know. I just got excited about the final number, but I'm happy to find out how many people donated as well.
Excellent. Thank you.
Of course.
Any questions, comments from the board? Very well. Thank you very much. Moving on to number 11, Director's Report.
For the record, Eric Crump with Washoe County's Community Services Department. So the board took a few actions during their June 10th and July 8th that are of note. As I had mentioned before, on June 10th, they adopted a resolution to initiate the proceedings for the Park District pursuant to Nevada revised statute and approved the interlocal with City of Reno for $100,000. They also appointed our own Commissioner Baker, so welcome. And then they approved an easement deed that came before this commission for NV Energy at Sierra Sage Golf Course. And then in July, we accepted a grant from the State of Nevada Division of State Parks, Recreation and Trails Program, otherwise known as RTP. That was for $275,000, and that's for a portion of the Sierra Front Trail that will connect our Michael D. Thompson Trailhead to where's it going to connect? Hunter Lake Road. It's about 7.7 miles of non-motorized single track, so pretty exciting. So other than that, I have no other announcements.
What was the name of the trailhead again? That from Hunter Lake to?
It's going to be the Michael D. Thompson Trailhead to Hunter Lake Road. Yeah.
Very well, thank you. Moving on, Commissioner request for future agenda items. Hearing none. Moving on, 13, public comments.
I have no public comment in chambers. I have no public comment on Zoom.
I would like to say something for the record, Kobe Burnett. There was something earlier this meeting, I think it was on the item of approval of the previous minutes from the last meeting. This is just a general note, but there's no real legal prohibition on you voting to confirm those meeting minutes. This goes to Commissioner Baker. This is a different situation because this is your first meeting in general. But if a commissioner misses a meeting for any reason, there's no legal prohibition against confirming those minutes. So there's no, you don't need to abstain from that in the future, but that's just a note that I wanted to put in there, so.
Very well. Thank you, Counselor.
Can I make a quick comment here, Commissioner Hill? I just want to remind everybody that Our Town is happening. I was at Bartley Rancho earlier this week, and I'll be at Rancho tonight for some mariachi. So there's a lot of cool things happening in our county parks associated with Our Town. So just want to put that out there. Go enjoy them.
Very well. Thank you. Any further comments? Hearing none. Very well. The time is 3:04. The meeting is adjourned.
The recording has stopped.